Well, it is possible that America is obsessed with protein. Influencers have been pushing variations of a high protein diet for a decade now. Companies, of course, have followed suit.
Yeah, Cheerios has experimented with a high protein formula. Even Khloe Kardashian is in the mix with her cloud popcorn, which is extra protein. That stuff is all over Target right now. 9 News medical expert Dr. Payal Kohli is here with us to talk all things protein. Why has this become such like an obsession, a fad? Or is it a fad? I mean, should we all be getting a decent amount of protein?
It's become an obsession. I mean, protein popcorn. I heard Starbucks has a protein foam to put on top of your coffee.
Oh, nice.
See, she's sold.
So
Yes.
let's break it down. Why are we so obsessed with protein? Well, it's really been marketed as sort of the healthy way to diet. It's a sign of nutrition and fitness and healthiness, and that's because we require 3 things for life. We require carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. And proteins do help us to lose weight more. And so the idea has become you minimize the other 2 things, maximize the protein, focus on it, and that's really how you're going to get healthy. So that's why we've become obsessed with it. And it's really important to repair our tissues, our muscles, for hormone function, for immune function. So I love protein, but too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. So we have to be careful.
Okay, and we're going to get to that. But first, I just want to break it down where mostly, because I feel like in America, we're the ones that are protein obsessed. So where are we primarily getting our protein from? What sources? And supplements as well? Do you figure that in, protein supplements?
Yeah, so let's think about what we eat on a day-to-day basis that gives us protein. So milk, yogurt, dairy, that has a lot of protein. Eggs have a lot of protein. Any sort of, meat like chicken, fish, or pork, that has a lot of protein. And for vegetarians like you, Sam, probably lentils, tofu, edamame, beans, nuts. These are all great sources of protein. We've started becoming more focused on supplements for people who can become protein deficient. And there's certain groups that are high risk for not getting enough protein, but it's not the way we should be getting our protein unless we're in a pinch. So if we feel like we are not getting protein from our diet, that's when we should reach for these supplements, the whey protein, the casein protein, the pea protein, all the other proteins out there.
Well, I guess I'm curious, how much do you truly need? Because the propaganda right now is like, everything needs protein. You need 18 grams in every meal. What does, your average 40, 50, 6-year-old woman really need in protein?
Yeah, so we should all go home and calculate what our protein needs should be. But in general, the average rule of thumb is about 36 grams per 100 pounds for an average sedentary person. Now, if you're weightlifting or training, so if you're 150 pounds, you need about 55 grams or so protein a day. If you're weightlifting, it's higher. If you're an older adult, it's higher. If you're a pregnant woman, it's higher because you have to feed the baby as well. If you have any kind of chronic diseases where you're not absorbing protein and such, it can be higher. But we should really know how much protein we need. We should be tracking it in order to know whether we're getting enough rather than just more is better.
And who are you most concerned about not getting protein?
So the older adults, I really worry about these because for a number of reasons. One, as we get older, our protein requirements go up because our body has a tendency to naturally break down muscle tissue. 2, our appetite tends to go down as we get older. And so we're probably taking in less protein. We have less access to food. And then some of those other groups that I mentioned as well, including low-income people. We know that they tend to focus more heavily on carbs and fat. They don't get as much protein, especially the healthy types of protein in their diet.
How do we know if we're getting enough, though? Are there symptoms that we can feel?
Good question.
You can. Sometimes you can. So a lot of times people will notice problems or changes in their skin, their hair, and just their overall muscle mass. So if you're feeling like your muscles are getting weaker, you're losing muscle mass, you're losing weight unexpectedly, your hair is falling out, your skin is brittle, these are all signs you may not be getting enough protein. Of course, like I said, if you have an app, I would recommend tracking it to make sure that you are getting enough. And in the course of your life, as you go through life, you get older, you have menopause, you get more or less active, your protein needs do evolve. So it's not something we do static once and then just keep eating the same thing we've always been eating. We have to change as our body changes.
And let's say you start to feel those symptoms. Is that when you would reach for a supplement or a supplement and ideally animal or plant source? What would you recommend for somebody who's like, oh no, that feels like me right now?
So I would say if you feel like you're not getting enough protein from your diet, first you have to talk to your doctor because this could be some other medical illness, your thyroid or something else that could be causing problems. But if that's ruled out, it is a good idea to supplement from time to time. So I'm not somebody who likes to take protein supplements every day. First, they taste awful. Even though they make them chocolate flavored, they're not very good. But second, and more importantly, they have a lot of additives, ingredients, extra calories, and it can have a lot of other things that are not good for you that can actually be bad for your health long term. It's not real food, it's processed, so that has its own set of risks with it. But once a month or once every other month, if you feel like, especially if you're going to run a marathon or do something more physically active, you need to supplement with a little extra protein. I'm all for reaching for those supplements.
I love that. I'm going to do my little calculation. I had my cottage cheese, my high protein cottage cheese breakfast this morning.
Great source
Dr.
of
Coley,
protein.
right? And tasty. Dr. Coley, thank you.